In today's video, let me show you how to use shape language to design your character. Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I create videos on my art and I tell you my tips and tricks as a professional artist. If that's something you're interested in, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. So about a couple of months back, some of my followers requested me to create a course showing you guys how I created this character and this set of expression sheets. So upon your request, I began working on a comprehensive character design course where I teach you guys my complete process on how I create a character design. My process of character design generally involves steps like story, shape language, size and variance, pose, and silhouette. By following this process, it gives me a foolproof method to create a character design for my clients. So in this course, I take you through the process step by step in explaining how I go about designing my character design. So in this video, I wanted to showcase what you can expect out of this character design course. To show that, I'll be playing one of the video lessons in here where I explain how I use shape language to create my character design. Now let me show you one of the videos from the course. By answering the questions from our previous lesson, we now know what sort of a character we are creating. If our character is funny, trustworthy, reliable, kind, is he on the good side or the bad side? Any and every character is comprised of three main shapes: the circle, square, and the triangle. Understanding shape language is the first step to creating our character. Now, based on day-to-day lives, we correlate these shapes to certain personality traits. For example, the shape circle is usually considered to be cute, kind, friendly, or peaceful, generally on the good side of things. The square, having a strong base which looks immovable, is usually considered strong, trustworthy, stable, or static. The pointed edges of triangle usually represents aggressiveness, active, edgy, or dangerous. Now we can use this shape language to convey the personality of a character. To illustrate the use of these shapes as an example, let's look at the movie Incredibles and the character design. Now let's look at Jack Jack. It's very obvious the whole face is a big circle and his entire body has soft round edges, which generally represents someone who's friendly and someone whom you can get close with. And Mr. Incredible obviously represents a shape square, as he's the lead of this movie and he's someone very strong, responsible, and trustworthy. And the antagonist of the movie, who is Syndrome, you can obviously see the use of triangles in his design and how it's implemented to his character. By understanding these shapes and how to use them, you can convey the personality of your character just by making them just appear on the screen. And keep in mind, this is not a hard and fast rule that you should use only one shape. Let's take Dash as an example. He obviously has speed superpowers. He's someone who is friendly, at the same time unpredictable and edgy. They've conveyed this by the use of circle and a triangle, which represents his friendly nature as well as his edginess. Now, how you come up with your own character is completely up to you. You can use just one shape or combine them to get a complex story. Alright, it's time to draw. Now let me show you some examples on how to go about drawing character faces based on these three shapes. So below here I've marked the shapes I'm going to base the character off of so that it makes it easier for you to follow. So let's begin. I always start any character design with a circle, and if it's going to be a character based on the shape circle, I'll go about drawing another circle about here and mark my guidelines to draw the eyes and nose. Now let me show you how I go about marking character for the shape square. Like I mentioned before, I always begin any character design with a circle, the guidelines for the eyes and nose, and in our previous drawing we continued this part drawing another circle. Since this character is based on the shape square, I am going to draw a square over here. Similarly, for the character that's based on the shape triangle, begin with a circle, and just like how I drew the circle and the square for my previous character, I'm going to go ahead with drawing a triangle and then marking the guidelines for the eyes and nose. Keep in mind, this is the placement of these shapes that I chose. You can go about doing this in a million different ways, and that is completely up to you. I would say try different versions, find out what works best for you, and proceed with that. So now we have our guidelines right now. Let me go ahead and reduce the opacity of this. And based on these shapes, let's go about starting to draw the faces. Now, since the first character is going to be based on the shape circle, I'm going to give all soft and round edges for this character as possible. And I'm going to follow my guidelines. Even on the edges of the hair, I make sure that it has soft round edges so that it gives you the feeling of this character being friendly. Now, this is the rough outline for my circle character. Now, let me go ahead to draw the character for Squire. Similar to the last character, I begin with mapping out the eyes and nose, and I follow the shape of the square drawn here and continue drawing his face. Now, keep in mind, this is not the final design. This is something we're trying to experiment and come up with different ideas. So it's okay for you to use the shape square in every possible aspect. Example, this neck over here is also a square, and so is the collar. Now, I believe you have a good enough design for this shape square. Let's go ahead with drawing the character based on the shape triangle. Now, as you can see, straight off the bat, when drawing my nose, I'm going with sharp edges. Just like I mentioned before, don't be afraid to impose the shape as much as you want. Just always keep in mind this is something rough you're doing. As you can see, even on the eyebrows, I'm trying to incorporate the shape triangle, and I'm going to follow the shape of the triangle to complete the face. Now, let me just clean up this drawing, and there we have it. We have a rough drawing based on these three shapes. Now, here you can see it is very obvious the shapes that I've used in these characters. And like I mentioned before, the circle character appears friendly, the square character appears strong, and the triangle character appears dangerous. And now keep in mind that I've been doing this for quite a while, so I was able to get to this pretty quick. I would say experiment with a bunch of different proportions. Don't be afraid to go overboard, and if you can draw something interesting, do share it in the project below. Alright, now that we've seen some examples, let's use a story that we wrote in our previous lesson and use this shape language and try to come up with our own character. And for the second time in this lesson, it's time to draw again. Now keep in mind, the drawing you do in this step should not be the final one. It should be as rough as possible, and just try to convey these shapes into your character using your story. As always, I'm beginning with a circle. Since my character is an explorer, he likes talking with people, communicating with people, so he's going to be friendly. So I'm going to begin with another circle, showing he's approachable, friendly, and kind, and in general just give round shapes to him. For every step of this course, you should be using this story as an anchor to start creating your characters. In the next lesson, let's see how we can use size and variance to further our character design. If you'd like to access a full course, I have a link in the description below where you can follow the link to my Skillshare course. For those who doesn't have a Skillshare subscription, I've also included a 2-month free trial to access my Skillshare course. You can cancel anytime between these 2 months and you won't be charged. If you do decide to take my course, do upload your designs in the project section and I'll give you my feedback on how good it is and what you can improve on. As always, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.